Question 1. Which of the following is NOT covered by a standard commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Bodily injury resulting from a slip and fall accident on business premises. B. Property damage caused by an employee while using company equipment. C. Medical expenses for a client injured on the business property. D. Pollution cleanup costs from a spill caused by the insured. Answer: D. Pollution cleanup costs from a spill caused by the insured. Explanation: a standard commercial general liability (CGL) policy generally provides coverage for bodily injury, property damage, and medical expenses. However, it excludes pollution-related claims unless a special endorsement, such as an environmental liability endorsement, is added. Pollution cleanup costs from spills or contamination are typically excluded under standard CGL policies, as pollution is considered an environmental hazard that requires separate coverage. This exclusion is important for both insurers and insureds to understand when evaluating their liability protection. Question 2. Mr. Carter owns a small manufacturing business and recently had a fire in his office building which resulted in significant damage to his property. He files a claim with his insurance company to cover the loss. What type of valuation will most likely apply to the damage to his business property under a standard commercial property policy? A. Market value. B. Actual cash value (SEV). C. Replacement cost. D. Appraised value. Answer: B. Actual cash value (SEV). Explanation: under most standard commercial property policies, the actual cash value (SEV) method is used for determining the value of damaged property unless a different valuation method is specified in the policy. A CV takes into account the replacement cost of the property minus depreciation. This reflects the value of the property at the time of the loss, considering its age and wear. The replacement cost method, which covers the full cost of replacing the damaged property without considering depreciation, is often available but requires specific endorsement. Market value and appraised value are not typically used in commercial property insurance claims. Question 3. Scenario-based. Mr. Thompson runs a restaurant and recently hired a new employee. The employee, while using the restaurant's commercial vehicle, was involved in an accident with another car. The other driver sustained injuries. Mr. Thompson's insurance covers commercial auto liability. Which of the following best describes the situation? A. Mr. Thompson's personal auto policy will cover the accident. B. The employee's personal auto policy will cover the accident. C. The commercial auto policy should cover the accident as the vehicle was being used for business purposes. D. The restaurant's general liability policy will cover the accident. Answer: C. The commercial auto policy should cover the accident as the vehicle was being used for business purposes. Explanation: in this case, the commercial auto insurance policy will most likely cover the accident since the vehicle was being used for business purposes at the time. Commercial auto insurance typically covers liability for bodily injury and property damage caused by the business's vehicles when the insured vehicle is used for business operations. A personal auto policy would generally not cover accidents that occur while a vehicle is used for business purposes. The general liability policy, although comprehensive for bodily injury and property damage in a commercial context, does not cover vehicle-related accidents. That is the role of the commercial auto policy. Question 4. Which of the following is a key difference between a commercial general liability (CGL) policy and a commercial auto insurance policy? A. CGL covers property damage, while commercial auto insurance covers bodily injury. B. CGL covers bodily injury and property damage occurring on the insured's business premises, while commercial auto insurance covers incidents involving vehicles. C. Commercial auto insurance covers both bodily injury and property damage for business operations, while CGL only covers medical expenses. D. CGL is an optional coverage, while commercial auto insurance is mandatory for all businesses. Answer: B. CGL covers bodily injury and property damage occurring on the insured's business premises, while commercial auto insurance covers incidents involving vehicles. Explanation: the primary difference between a CGL policy and a commercial auto insurance policy lies in the nature of the coverage. A CGL policy covers bodily injury, property damage, and medical expenses occurring on the business premises or as a result of business operations. In contrast, a commercial auto insurance policy covers incidents involving vehicles used in business operations, including liability for bodily injury or property damage caused by a business vehicle. Both policies provide essential protection but address different risks. CGL addresses risks related to business activities, while commercial auto insurance covers risks involving vehicles used for business purposes. Question 5 under a business owner's policy BOP, which of the following is typically excluded from coverage? A. Building and business personal property. B. Employee dishonesty. C. Aircraft, autos and watercraft. D. Equipment breakdown. Answer C. Aircraft, autos and watercraft. Explanation: a business owner's policy BOP provides coverage for building and business personal property employee dishonesty with certain limits and equipment breakdown, often available with endorsements. However, aircraft, autos and watercraft are typically excluded from BOP coverage. These exclusions exist because such properties are typically covered under specific policies such as commercial auto insurance, aviation insurance, or marine insurance, which are more suited to the unique risks associated with those types of assets. This exclusion prevents overlap of coverage and allows businesses to secure more targeted insurance for these types of property. Question 6. Which of the following is an example of a risk classification factor used in determining workers' compensation insurance premiums? A. The employer's total revenue. B. The geographical location of the business. C. The risk of injury specific to the business industry. D. The age of the business owner. Answer C. The risk of injury specific to the business industry. Explanation: workers' compensation insurance premiums are largely based on the type of work performed by employees, which is linked to the risk of injury within a specific industry. This is referred to as risk classification and is determined by industry-specific codes, such as those established by the National Council on Compensation Insurance (NCIA). These codes assess the likelihood of injury or illness associated with the nature of the work and help determine the appropriate premium for coverage, while factors like revenue, location, and the business owner's age may influence the overall cost of operations. The primary determinant for workers' compensation premiums is the risk classification associated with the industry. Question 7. Which of the following would be covered under a commercial crime insurance policy? A. A business liability for a customer's bodily injury caused by an employee's actions. B. Damage to the building caused by a fire. C. Theft of company property by an employee. D. Injuries sustained by an employee during the course of employment. Answer C. Theft of company property by an employee. Explanation: commercial crime insurance is designed to protect businesses against various forms of criminal activity, including employee theft, forgery, robbery, and burglary. Theft of company property by an employee falls under this coverage. Crime policies often provide protection for losses that occur due to dishonest acts of employees or third parties. It does not typically cover liability for bodily injury, which would be addressed by general liability insurance. Property damage from fire covered under property insurance, or employee injuries, which would fall under workers' compensation. Question 8. Which of the following is the purpose of the extended business income coverage under a commercial property policy? A. To cover additional expenses incurred to repair or replace property. B. To pay for the loss of income due to a business interruption for a period beyond the actual repair period. C. To cover losses due to physical damage to business property. D. To insure the cost of repairing the property due to ordinance or law violations. Answer B. To pay for the loss of income due to a business interruption for a period beyond the actual repair period. Explanation: extended business income coverage is designed to cover the loss of income that a business suffers due to a business interruption caused by a covered loss, such as a fire or other disaster. Unlike standard business income coverage, which typically only covers income loss during the actual period of restoration or repair, extended business income coverage extends that period to account for additional income losses that might continue after repairs are completed, but while the business is still in the process of returning to normal operations. This coverage is essential for businesses that may take longer to recover fully after a significant interruption. Question 9. Which of the following scenarios would trigger coverage under a commercial umbrella insurance policy? A. A business vehicle involved in an accident exceeding the liability limits of its commercial auto policy. B. Property damage at a business due to a covered peril, such as fire, that exceeds the building's coverage limit. C. Bodily injury at the business premises that exceeds the liability limit of the commercial general liability (CGL) policy. D. A worker's injury that exceeds the limits of the workers' compensation insurance policy. Answer C. Bodily injury at the business premises that exceeds the liability limit of the commercial general liability (CGL) policy. Explanation: A commercial umbrella insurance policy is designed to provide excess coverage over primary policies such as CGL, commercial auto and employer's liability insurance. It will typically cover the costs of bodily injury or property damage that exceeds the limits of these underlying policies. In this case, if a bodily injury claim exceeds the CGL policy's liability limit, the umbrella policy would step in to cover the additional costs. Umbrella policies do not cover workers' compensation claims or property damage that is covered under a business property policy. Question 10. Scenario-based. Mrs. Thompson owns a retail clothing store. A customer slips and falls in her store due to a wet floor and sustains an injury. The customer files a lawsuit against the business for bodily injury. Which type of coverage is most likely to cover the injury in this scenario? A. Commercial auto insurance. B. Workers' compensation insurance. C. Commercial general liability (CGL) insurance. D. Property insurance. Answer: C. Commercial general liability (CGL) insurance. Explanation: in this scenario, the injury sustained by the customer on the business premises is a liability issue, which would be covered under a commercial general liability (CGL) policy. CGL provides coverage for bodily injury, property damage, and personal injury that occur on the business premises due to the business operations. Workers' compensation insurance would cover employee injuries, commercial auto insurance would cover injuries related to business vehicle accidents, and property insurance would cover damage to physical assets or buildings, but not bodily injuries from accidents. Question 11. Which of the following statements about the occurrence form of commercial general liability (CGL) insurance is correct? A. It covers claims made during the policy period, regardless of when the incident occurred. B. It covers claims arising only during the policy period. C. It covers incidents that occurred during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. D. It covers incidents that occur after the policy has expired. Answer: C. It covers incidents that occurred during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. Explanation: the occurrence form of CGL insurance provides coverage for incidents that happen during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. This contrasts with the claims made form, which only covers claims made during the policy period, regardless of when the incident occurred. Question 12. Which of the following is a typical exclusion under a standard commercial property policy? A. Loss or damage due to fire or explosion. B. Loss or damage caused by war or terrorism. C. Loss or damage caused by theft or vandalism. D. Loss or damage due to faulty workmanship or design. Answer: B. Loss or damage caused by war or terrorism. Explanation: a standard commercial property policy typically excludes coverage for loss or damage caused by war, terrorism, or civil unrest. These are often considered uninsurable risks and require special coverage options, such as terrorism insurance, which can be purchased separately. Fire, explosion, theft, and vandalism are usually covered unless specifically excluded. Question 13. Under a business owner's policy, which of the following is typically covered under the business income provision? A. Medical expenses incurred by employees. B. Loss of business income due to a fire or other covered peril. C. Loss of business income due to employee dishonesty. D. Damage to the building from an earthquake. Answer: B. Loss of business income due to a fire or other covered peril. Explanation: the business income coverage under BOP helps replace lost income if a covered event, e.g. a fire, disrupts the business operations. This provision compensates the business for income lost during the period needed to repair or replace damaged property. Employee dishonesty and earthquake damage are typically not covered under standard BOP provisions. Question 14. Which of the following would be covered under a commercial auto insurance policy? A. Personal property damage caused by a vehicle used for personal errands. B. Injuries caused by a company vehicle while transporting goods for a business. C. Damage to a company vehicle while parked on the business premises. D. Injuries caused by an employee driving their personal vehicle during business hours. Answer: B. Injuries caused by a company vehicle while transporting goods for a business. Explanation: commercial auto insurance provides coverage for business-owned vehicles used in the course of business activities. This includes bodily injury or property damage caused by a company vehicle while transporting goods for the business. Personal property damage caused by a vehicle used for personal errands or injuries in an employee's personal vehicle are typically not covered by commercial auto insurance. Question 15. Scenario-based. A business purchases a property insurance policy that covers fire, theft, and vandalism. A tornado severely damages the business's building and inventory. Which of the following will the business likely need in order to cover the damages caused by the tornado? A. General liability insurance. B. Business income insurance. C. Flood insurance. D. Windstorm or hurricane insurance. Answer: D. Windstorm or hurricane insurance. Explanation: standard property insurance policies generally do not cover damage caused by natural events such as tornadoes, hurricanes, or floods. To cover tornado damage, the business would need a specific windstorm or hurricane insurance policy. In cases of flooding, a separate flood insurance policy is usually required. General liability and business income insurance would not cover tornado damage. Question 16. Which of the following is a characteristic of the claims-made form of commercial general liability (CGL) insurance? A. It covers incidents that occur during the policy period even if the claim is filed after the policy period. B. It provides coverage for claims made and reported during the policy period. C. It only covers claims filed during the policy period regardless of when the incident occurred. D. It offers perpetual coverage for incidents that occur during the policy period. Answer: B. It provides coverage for claims made and reported during the policy period. Explanation: the claims made form of CGL insurance only provides coverage for claims that are both made and reported during the policy period. This form differs from the occurrence form, which covers claims arising from incidents that occurred during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is made. Question 17. Which of the following best describes the purpose of the excess liability policy in a business insurance portfolio? A. To cover losses due to employee injuries. B. To provide additional coverage when underlying policies' limits are exhausted. C. To cover damage to inventory and equipment. D. To provide coverage for losses due to environmental hazards. Answer: B. To provide additional coverage when underlying policies' limits are exhausted. Explanation: excess liability insurance provides additional coverage once the limits of primary insurance policies, e.g., CGL or commercial auto insurance, have been exhausted. It acts as a secondary policy covering additional losses that go beyond the limits of the underlying coverage. It is not typically designed to cover specific risks like employee injuries, property damage, or environmental hazards. Question 18. Which of the following is a typical requirement for a business to qualify for a business owner's policy (BOP)? A. The business must have more than 50 employees. B. The business must be located in a metropolitan area. C. The business must be a small to medium-sized enterprise. D. The business must be a corporation. Answer: C. The business must be a small to medium-sized enterprise. Explanation: a business owner's policy (BOP) is designed for small to medium-sized businesses, and it typically requires the business to meet certain criteria such as having a small number of employees or operating in a relatively low-risk industry. BOPs are not typically available for large enterprises or businesses with complex insurance needs such as corporations. Question 19. Under a typical commercial crime insurance policy, which of the following is likely to be covered? A. Loss due to fraudulent misrepresentation of a business owner. B. Theft by an employee of company property. C. Liability for damages caused by a business vehicle accident. D. Property damage resulting from a fire caused by a criminal act. Answer: B. Theft by an employee of company property. Explanation: commercial crime insurance covers losses due to criminal acts, including theft or embezzlement of business property by employees or third parties. Fraudulent misrepresentation may be covered by other types of liability insurance, while vehicle accidents and property damage resulting from fire are typically covered by other policies, such as commercial auto insurance or property insurance. Question 20 is scenario-based. The contractor's equipment is damaged in an accident, but the contractor did not have insurance to cover the loss. Which type of insurance would likely cover the cost of replacing the contractor's damaged equipment? A. General liability insurance. B. Property insurance. C. Inland marine insurance. D. Workers' compensation insurance. Answer: C. Inland marine insurance. Explanation: inland marine insurance is designed to cover equipment, tools, and materials that are frequently transported or used away from a business's primary location. This policy is particularly useful for contractors and other businesses whose assets are mobile or exposed to risks away from a fixed location. General liability insurance, property insurance, and workers' compensation would not typically cover the replacement of mobile equipment. Question 21. Which of the following is covered under a standard commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Loss of income due to business interruption. B. Damage to the insured's own property. C. Bodily injury or property damage to third parties. D. Damages resulting from employee dishonesty. Answer C. Bodily injury or property damage to third parties. Explanation. A standard CGL policy provides coverage for bodily injury or property damage to third parties caused by the insured's operations, products, or services, loss of income, damage to the insured's own property, and damages resulting from employee dishonesty are not covered under CGL. Other policies, such as business interruption insurance or crime insurance, would be needed for those situations. Question 22. Which of the following types of insurance is designed to cover the liability risks associated with the use of professional services? A. General liability insurance. B. Errors and omissions insurance. C. Automobile liability insurance. D. Workers' compensation insurance. Answer. B. Errors and omissions insurance. Explanation. Errors and omissions (EO) insurance, also known as professional liability insurance, covers the liability risks associated with the provision of professional services, including negligence, errors, or omissions in the performance of professional duties. General liability insurance typically covers bodily injury or property damage, while workers' compensation covers employee injuries. Question 23. Which of the following is a common exclusion under a standard homeowners insurance policy? A. Damage from fire. B. Theft of personal property. C. Damage from earthquakes. D. Damage from lightning strikes. Answer. C. Damage from earthquakes. Explanation. A standard homeowners insurance policy typically excludes coverage for damages caused by earthquakes. Earthquake coverage can usually be purchased separately as an endorsement or through a separate policy. Fire, theft, and lightning strike damage are typically covered by standard homeowners insurance policies. Question 24. Under standard commercial property policy, which of the following would be covered by business personal property coverage? A. The building where the business operates. B. Equipment and inventory used for business operations. C. Bodily injury to a customer on the business premises. D. Loss of business income due to a fire. Answer. B. Equipment and inventory used for business operations. Explanation. Business personal property coverage under commercial property policy covers equipment, inventory, and other property used in business operations. The building itself is typically covered under a separate coverage, such as building coverage, and business income loss is typically covered under business income insurance. Question 25. Scenario-based. A business experiences a cyber attack that results in the theft of customer data. The business purchases a cyber liability insurance policy. Which of the following losses is the business likely to be covered for under the policy? A. Lost income from customers due to the breach. B. Physical damage to the business premises. C. Legal fees related to defending against a lawsuit from customers. D. Damage to the business's computer equipment. Answer. C. Legal fees related to defending against a lawsuit from customers. Explanation. Cyber liability insurance typically covers legal fees, including defense costs and settlements arising from data breaches or cyber attacks, as well as potential costs related to customer notifications and public relations. It generally does not cover lost income, physical property damage, or damage to the business's computer equipment, which would be covered by other policies. Question 26. Which of the following would likely be covered under an umbrella insurance policy? A. Damages exceeding the limits of an underlying policy, such as auto liability. B. Damages from a business's own negligence. C. Employee injuries at the workplace. D. Losses from intentional acts or fraud. Answer. A. Damages exceeding the limits of an underlying policy, such as auto liability. Explanation. Umbrella insurance provides additional coverage above the limits of underlying policies like auto or general liability insurance. It does not cover losses from intentional acts or fraud, employee injuries, or damages resulting from the insured's own negligence, as those are typically covered by other insurance policies. Question 27. Scenario-based. A tenant in a commercial building causes a fire while cooking in their apartment, resulting in extensive damage to the building. Which of the following would likely provide coverage for the damage caused to the building? A. The tenant's renter's insurance. B. The landlord's property insurance. C. The tenant's general liability insurance. D. The landlord's commercial auto insurance. Answer. B. The landlord's property insurance. Explanation. In this scenario, the landlord's property insurance would typically cover the damage to the building caused by the fire. The tenant's renter's insurance typically covers the tenant's personal property but does not cover damage to the building. General liability and commercial auto insurance would not apply in this situation. Question 28. Which of the following is an example of a moral hazard in insurance? A. An individual with a history of accidents purchasing auto insurance. B. A business that installs faulty equipment to increase insurance claims. C. A homeowner installing a security system after purchasing homeowners insurance. D. A business implementing safety protocols to reduce workplace injuries. Answer: B. A business that installs faulty equipment to increase insurance claims. Explanation: a moral hazard refers to situations where the behavior of the insured party changes after obtaining insurance, leading them to take greater risks because they know they are covered. In this example, the business intentionally installs faulty equipment to increase insurance claims, which is a clear example of a moral hazard. Question 29. Which of the following types of coverage would a business most likely need to protect itself from losses due to damage to its inventory caused by a natural disaster? A. General liability insurance. B. Commercial auto insurance. C. Commercial property insurance. D. Workers' compensation insurance. Answer: C. Commercial property insurance. Explanation: commercial property insurance covers physical damage to business property, including inventory, caused by various perils, such as fire, theft, or natural disasters. General liability insurance covers third-party bodily injury and property damage. Commercial auto insurance covers vehicle-related incidents, and workers' compensation covers employee injuries. Question 30. Which of the following is typically excluded under a standard business interruption insurance policy? A. Loss of income due to fire damage. B. Loss of income due to government-mandated closure following the pandemic. C. Loss of income due to damage from a flood. D. Loss of income due to damage from a covered storm. Answer: C. Loss of income due to damage from a flood. Explanation: business interruption insurance typically covers loss of income due to covered perils like fire or storm damage. However, flood damage is typically excluded under standard policies and requires separate flood coverage. Losses due to government-mandated closure or pandemics may not be covered unless specifically included in the policy or through additional endorsements.